Welcome to the Born Unbreakable podcast. I'm your host, Coach Des, mindset motivator and lifestyle entrepreneur. From loss, trauma, disappointments, and devastation to healing, hope, and betterment, what has grounded me is my unbreakable spirit. We all have that spirit within us. Every week, I'm here to inspire you with stories of perseverance and growth. My mission is to help you crush self-limiting beliefs and to be unapologetically you. You are your only limit, so take action today. Let your unbreakable ride begin now. Welcome, everyone, to the Born Unbreakable podcast. I'm so excited today for the guest that I have. Rosa Alanis is here, and we are going to dig into her journey into fitness, her business that she's had challenges with, that she's made an incredible comeback from. So just a little bit about Rosa and how I met her, because that's a funny story. So Rosa has been in the fitness industry for a long time, which I personally could use some tips. So I might just selfishly be asking questions related to that. But she's also a mom. She has her own company called Pro Lifts. She helps athletes who are getting ready to do bodybuilding competitions. And so she's got a ton of experience in this space. And the reason that I invited Rosa onto the show is because I actually got introduced to her story on social media. So I had a good friend of mine, Donna. Hey, Donna, tag me in her story where she talked about during the pandemic nearly losing her business. And when I read more about her and how she persevered, I said to myself, oh my gosh, I need to have her on the show. There are so many people who have experienced challenges of loss and struggle during this pandemic that I think all of us thought would end a lot sooner. You know, March 2020 came along. I think we were all like, 2020 vision. It's going to be so awesome. It's going to be the best year ever. And then it just kind of deteriorated in so many ways. You know, the political climate was crazy, our economy, everything. And so a lot of small businesses in particular suffered in ways that we wouldn't want to see, small businesses suffer. As somebody who's an entrepreneur myself, I know how difficult it is. And so I just thought that her sharing her story would be tremendously impactful. So thank you so much for your time and being able to come on the show and your willingness to share your story.
Thank you, Des. Thank you for having me here and inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. So, I want to just start with, how did you get into fitness? Like, what was your journey into getting into this space and wanting to help people with their fitness goals?
So I got into fitness. First off, I hated every aspect about fitness when I first started. My thought process was, if I worked out, I was going to bulk up and look like a man. I was skinny fat. I weighed 110 pounds prior to me even lifting a weight or working out. My diet was not the best at all. Like, I would eat Taco Bell and just eat all kinds of junk food. So that was my mentality going into fitness. It wasn't until 2011 when I had my second child where I knew I had to do something, because I had gained and put on 35 pounds. So, my body wasn't the same anymore. And that's when I started to work out. But in that process, I was dealing with postpartum depression as well. I started working out 6 weeks after I had my daughter. So I was also dealing with postpartum depression, and the doctors just kept pushing medication on me. And I was on medication for about a month when I realized that it was making me worse. I actually was going into more of a depressed mode. I really had nothing going for me. That's what I thought and felt like. And I didn't like, honestly, how the medication was making me feel, the antidepressants and so forth. So it was making it worse. And I turned into fitness as my form of the healthy drug, And I started working out in my garage because I didn't want nobody to see me. I just had a baby. 6 weeks. And I did not want to go to a big box gym and have it. Working out in front of people made me very nervous. I was self-conscious already. So it all started in my garage, and that's when I started falling in love with fitness. And I took off from there, and I started competing in bodybuilding. And I had a goal, and it was to get my pro card as an IFBB pro athlete. And a lot of people were like, I've been trying to do that for years. There's no way you're going to get it, Rosa. Like, you just started, in fitness.
Yeah.
And I always had that comment behind in my mind, and it drove me to be that IFBB pro. And I envisioned it, and I did it. In 3 short years of me competing, I earned the title of an IFBB pro athlete in figure. And I fell in love even more with the passion of working out and helping people, that I decided to actually help people along the way. And that's how I got into fitness.
That is so incredible. So you went from somebody that didn't like working out, being in your garage trying to hide the fact that you were working out, to 3 years later being a pro, and then being able to help other people do the same thing.
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
So how did you have that determination when other people were telling you that you couldn't do that?
So the way I looked at it, it was their own limiting beliefs that they believed, that they would tell themselves, like they can't be a pro.
They were projecting on you.
On me. So I was like, you're saying that about yourself, but it's not of me. Like, I could literally dedicate myself. If I really want this goal for myself, I can do it. Mm-hmm. So it was when it drove me even more to prove that it can be done. It's all in our mindset. I would remember, still clear to this day, I would be on that treadmill and I would envision myself winning that pro title, that pro card, that I was going to be crowned. I was going to have that medal. I was going to come home with the trophy. Every cardio session, every meal I had, every training session, I would envision me getting called to the center of the stage, front row, in that middle box, saying I'm the new IFBB pro athlete. And I did.
You visualized it.
Yes.
That's huge. One of the things I loved when I was looking at one of your favorite quotes is, it's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not. And you lived that through and through.
Yes.
Because other people thought they weren't, and therefore they stayed that way. Meanwhile, you persevered because you visualized seeing yourself on stage, and you got there.
Yes, it's very true. And that person still has not earned her pro card yet. And, there's going to be a lot of people that are either going to support you or not. You have to believe in yourself and really change that mindset and go for it. If that's what you want to do in life, whatever the goal may be, it could be, business, personal, fitness, anything that you want to do, it starts with your mindset. And if you tell yourself you can't do it, you really won't do it. Mm-hmm. So it's all about that mindset, believing in yourself, visualizing, and doing it, because you can do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah, I love the language that you just said too. Believing in yourself and knowing you can. I think language is such an important part of our motivation. Mm-hmm. And using words like can't, I feel like you should start eliminating that from your vocabulary.
Yes, for sure.
Just for every time you say that, you put a nickel in the swear jar. That's like a bad word. Don't be saying you can't, but it's true. I think you start conditioning yourself based on the things you tell yourself, because you're your own worst critic. Yes. So you can be your own worst critic, or you could be your best cheerleader. And that's amazing. So I know that part of your journey was at some point going all in to pro lifts, to have a full-blown business, getting to the point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to really do this thing. And then, I don't know, this thing called a pandemic kind of happened. affected the entire world. We're still kind of living in it right now, over a year later. So tell me about that. You had this big dream. You spent years building a craft that obviously you've got success with because you've gotten to a point where you could be pro and you're teaching other people. So you know that much. And then all of a sudden you do business. And then how does it work when a pandemic happens and part of fitness is having to have people physically, not social distancing? How do you succeed in this industry?
So it has been not an easy road, I can say that. It's been a lot of bumps, a lot of trial and errors, a lot of learning. You fall down, you get back up. You just have to have that mentality. Going into it, I actually left my job of almost 18 years to fulfill my dream. I had a vision. And when I have a vision, I just go all in. I have that tunnel vision. I want to hit those goals. And that's what I had. I had a passion for fitness and I wanted to help people. I love people and I love helping them out. And I wanted to fulfill my dream as well, is helping them succeed, and their wins made me feel better about it. So when I left my job of 18 years, it was pretty risky. At the time, I was a single parent as well, trying to raise my son.
Wow.
And I was also going to college full time because I wanted to become an RN. So I had to balance everything out, and I was kind of afraid to really, quit my job of almost 18 years to fulfill a dream, because now what am I going to do? Not have a steady income coming in depending on a paycheck, and also medical benefits. So those two things were huge for me and my son at the time. And it got to a point where I got really tired and drained mentally and physically of doing both. So I was working, getting off from my job, opening up the studio, and training clients. I was getting fatigued. Sometimes I would even work doubles. I'd work at my normal job and then I'd go and be a trainer, a business owner trainer, and work endless hours, 7 days a week. And I knew that my health was at risk and something had to give. So that's where my mentality came in. I have to succeed no matter what. So if I leave my job, there's no room for failure, Rosa. And this is exactly what I would tell myself. I have to make ends meet. So with courage, I gave my 2-week notice to my employer, and I said, this is going to be my last day here. My employer said, hey, we wish you the best of luck. We'll always be here for you. If you ever need us, you're welcome back. So I was a really good employee, learned a lot. I was with them, for 18 years. And I quit to fulfill my dream and open up a studio. And I've been in business for now 6 years. But when COVID hit, you said, that fear and everything came back in. And I was like, what am I going to do? Because this is my only source of income. This is how I feed my children. This is how I feed my family. This is how I pay my bills. What am I going to do now when COVID hit? Now I'm a business owner going downhill and I have no paycheck coming in, because when I say no paycheck, it's all memberships were canceled and put on hold. And, there's no help out there for small businesses. They make it seem like you are going to get help. Mm-hmm. You're going to get through this. But the help is you go and apply for a loan and get yourself and your business in debt. And I told myself I would not do that, because I'm not going to go down that loop and get my business in debt and get myself in debt.
Yep.
So I knew I had to act quickly. Even though I had fear, not only did I have, my business going downhill, but I also had employees that depended on me, depended on my business, depended for them to get a paycheck. So not only did I have my family on the line, my personal bills, my business on the line, but I also had other families that were on the line. And that was a lot of pressure on me. And I knew I had to act very quickly before losing everything. And I did that. I like I was telling you, I literally had some money saved in my savings. And I remember thinking, either I'm going to lose everything that I risked my entire life. You know, I had blood, sweat, and tears in this business for 6 years, or I act quickly, use my savings, because I had that fear. Am I going to save the money? Right?
Scary.
Save the money to pay my personal bills, right? Because now I have no income. It like completely zeroed out.
My gosh.
Coming in. All memberships were canceled.
You're like buying lotto tickets.
Exactly.
You know, joining sweepstakes.
I told them I'm about to start selling churros on the corner.
Right? Anything. Kids, this is a great time to become an entrepreneur. Yeah. Get your Girl Scout cookie on. Do something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You just gotta come up with something.
Yeah, what can I do? And I prayed about it. I told God, you want to put me in this situation if you didn't think I can handle it, and if you're not going to get me out of it. So I know you got me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I said, God, I know you got me, and you're talking to me right now, and you're telling me, it's in my heart. You're telling me this is your purpose. You're designed to help people change not only their lives, you know, but also like their family, because if they're not happy with themselves, it's affecting their family. Mm-hmm. So I knew, like, this is my purpose. This is my passion. This is my calling. And God spoke to me that day. And I remember I was in my backyard, and I had to make a decision if I was going to hire this coach of mine, my friend, who's also a really good friend of mine, give my savings, or save it, pay my bills, and see where COVID's going to lead us, you know, my personal life and my business, file bankruptcy possibly, or just take the leap of faith. And I knew God would never steer me the wrong way. I said, let's jump in with both feet and let's do this.
So you took your savings, your hard-earned money that took a lot of time to invest in this thing that would potentially save your business.
Potentially, because I didn't know, right? It's a 50-50.
Right.
Either it's going to save my business or it's not. I'm going to lose the money, and then I don't know what I'm going to do. So I had to take a chance. But I knew deep down in my heart, when I prayed about it and I read the Bible, God was telling me, do it. You have nothing to lose. What are you afraid of?
Yeah.
And he was right, because if I wouldn't have taken that leap of faith, I would have lost my business, honestly. I would have. I wouldn't be here sitting here with you and I just celebrated my 6-year anniversary with Pro Lifts under the circumstances in February with COVID.
That's amazing.
Yeah, which is crazy. So I thank the Lord for guiding me, and my friend who was my mentor, my coach, for guiding me in the right directions. He told me, you got this, you can do this. And when you associate yourself and hang out with the like-minded people, it's amazing what it can do.
Yeah.
You know, every day I would log on with them on Zoom, and our calls, our conference calls, our homework, everything made a difference.
Mm-hmm. You had that commitment.
Yeah.
I think, that is so huge. One of the biggest themes that I've seen in the difference between those who are just struggling to kind of get past that hurdle to the step where they want to be, and those who are able to accelerate past the challenges, is the willingness to put the right people around you and have enough vulnerability and the ability to put your ego aside to accept ongoing knowledge and new information and things that will help you, because we don't know everything.
We don't. And you have
we want to know everything, but we don't know everything.
Yeah, and you have to be open-minded. Like, I don't know everything, and I want to learn from other entrepreneurs who are killing it online, who are crushing it. What are they doing differently that I can improve on? What can I do better? Mm-hmm. You know, so you always have to go into it as a student willing to learn, and just get that material.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So then you worked with your coach, and then how did you pivot? Because you like you said, you were at 0. You lost the memberships. What was the turning point to get you back on track?
So what got me back on track is I had to come up with a program that we would still be able to train clients online in our routine. Something that required no equipment to little equipment, and just still connect with people. So I had to learn. Online is totally different than in person.
Yeah, that's huge.
I believe it's a lot harder because it's more difficult because you really, you're talking to people through
Technology.
Camera, yeah.
Like,
right
hi.
now. So you really got to pull them in. So for me, it was a challenge because I've always done in-person training. So I had to switch my mentality going into this, believing that I can still continue to train clients online and that they don't need me in person. Like I could still deliver, if that, even more services online. And once I switched my mentality, I was able to pivot in-person training to physically online. All of our memberships are online. We run challenges all the time. I focus more on personal one-on-one coaching with my clients, where I'm able to spend more time with them and really get them to their goals where they want to be. So I've created 2 new programs that we were able to pivot from in-person to online. Yeah.
Did you find that when you did that, your base of clients expanded? Because obviously, if people are coming in person, there's the cost of where they're coming from, right? They're driving from whatever city they're driving from. So maybe there's a certain limiting factor, right? Well, okay, I'm not going to drive more than an hour, let's say. Whereas online, there's no limit. You could be anywhere. You don't have to be down the street.
Exactly.
So
yeah, so we did get a bunch of new clients from all over the world. They didn't have to live here in the area, which was good. Now we're all over online. So it doesn't matter where you live. But what I can say is when we went into it, it's like we lost all of our clients mainly. And we were only holding on to like our die-hard, loyal ProLifts clients. And now we're still with the same amount of clients now that we held on, but we're able to expand more. We're spending more time with our one-on-one clients, where that's going a different direction. So we have excelled in that one-on-one.
yeah. We're building relationships, nurturing those
exactly.
relationships.
Yes.
Yeah. What, fitness is such an interesting journey for people. I know I've had my own journey, and it's challenging. What kind of advice do you give to people when they don't feel like they can overcome or achieve their fitness goals?
I would say if they keep telling themselves that, they will not succeed. For me, mindset's very powerful. It's powerful in anything we do, whether it's fitness, your marriage, your friendships, any type of relationship. It all starts with our mindset. So if you go in believing those negative thoughts or those beliefs that those limiting beliefs that you've been telling yourself probably as a child or somebody told you, and you keep replaying those thoughts in your mind, that's exactly what's going to happen. So I help a lot of my clients too with their mindset. So fitness ties in with mindset coaching. So I teach them how to replace negative words with a positive word. So every time a negative word comes to their mind, I tell them, what's the opposite of that? How can you replace that? So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm fat.
Ugh.
Right?
That's the killer.
That's the killer
Come
one.
on, don't do that. Just starting at the very bottom.
Yeah, so they believe that. And I'm like, no, that's not where you're going to end. That's not our destination, right? Mm-hmm. That's our starting point. But you're not fat. You're not fat. This is where you're starting. You were unhealthy. Okay, unhealthy.
Ooh,
you're
that's
not fat.
good.
You were unhealthy, but you're going to get on the healthy path now. And that's not our end. This is our starting point. We're going to end somewhere where you're going to achieve your goals. Envision that.
Wow.
How are you going to look in that bikini, right? Or those shorts? You know, what that you've been envisioning. You're thinking about that, but you don't know how to get there, right?
Yeah.
So changing your mindset, that thought process, I would say when a negative word comes up, replace it with a positive one.
That's good because it's also practical, right? It's something you can actually do right there in the moment. When someone's saying, I can't, or I'm fat, you can, okay, let's just stop right there, recalibrate, and think of something different, because then you're actually influencing a habit.
Yes.
So every time you catch it, let's correct that, turn it into something else. Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's that daily grind.
It is.
Right? It's I
got to do this again.
Here we are again. Here we are again. Especially with fitness.
Yes.
You know, because the other aspect of fitness, I'm curious, is so there's the physical working out, which is hard enough, right?
Yes.
It's like waking up and just getting weights, or, you know, when you know you could be sleeping an extra hour or whatever it is, right? There's that whole mental game.
Yes.
But then it's the nutrition. How do you get people to, if they were with the Taco Bell and everything, which, by the way, there's sometimes I crave Taco Bell. Well, we won't talk about that. What do you do to get those? Because I feel like with health, food is the biggest part. I mean, if you could work out, that's awesome, because that will take you to the next thing. But if your food isn't right, then it's gonna keep on challenging you. How do you get someone to actually enjoy healthy food?
That is true, because 80% of your results is nutrition. You can be killing yourself in the gym or doing all this cardio, all the strength training, but if your nutrition at least is not 80%, the other, 20% can be junk. But if you're not at least 80 and doing your workouts, you won't see results. So my tips for people who are just beginning, we always start off slow. Like, you never want to jump in and do everything at once. So my one-on-one coaching program, I teach clients either you're going to pick up strength training this week. Like, how many days can you give me working out? And if they say 2, okay, 2. How long? They tell me 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes. You're going to do 30 minutes.
You meet them where they are.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where you're at. That's where we're going to start. Okay. After that, week 2, we're going to build the next habit. Okay. So how much cardio can you give me now? And they're like, well, I hate cardio, right?
Cardio.
Exactly.
Does it count if I sit and I move my legs? Does that count as cardio?
No.
Dang it.
So then we work on the cardio, because I don't like cardio. So I can relate to that. I love strength training. You could put me underneath a squat rack, lift dumbbells all day long. But when it comes to cardio, I totally get it. I understand. So I meet them. I said, okay, what do you normally do? Well, I walk my dog. Okay, walk your dog for 20 minutes. Okay, let's do that. Baby steps. Next, third week, they're telling me, hey, I got hold of this. I'm on a roll. I got the schedule going on.
I'm kind of jogging with my dog.
Exactly.
I got to jog now. Yeah.
Exactly. So we build. I'm not going to cut them cold turkey on everything. They're going to give up. They're going to give up. If I say, hey, you need to follow this strict meal plan. What's that? It's, it's a lifestyle.
Kale? What's that? I don't even know what that is.
And to be honest, I don't like vegetables. So you don't have to like vegetables to be healthy. Okay?
Write that down. Make a note of that. That comes from a person with a pro card. Okay?
Just drink them. Okay? So use powder supplements. Get your green veggies in that way. And then eat your lean protein, fats, and carbs. But all with moderation. Like, I tell my clients, tell me the foods you like to eat.
Nachos.
So we're going to make a healthier version of nachos. Okay?
We're going to talk after the show.
Yes, because I'm a big believer. This is how I've kept up my weight off already for almost 11 years. And I tell you what, it's all about moderation is the key to success. It's a lifestyle. Why am I going to be living on this strict diet?
Boring.
Yeah, I'm not going to stick to it. Give me tacos, give me pizza, give me hamburgers, things that I like to eat on my meal plan, please.
Delicious.
Exactly. So you teach the client how to make it a lifestyle.
So it's not depravity.
Exactly.
It's not like, hey, you can't eat any now, tomorrow, just eat, broccoli all day long.
No, yeah.
No, that's unreasonable.
I don't live like that.
That's crazy.
It's like I eat 80% clean. I work out 20%. I do drink occasionally, and I do eat junk food. I love sweets, cookies. Who doesn't?
Yeah. Sign me up. Yeah. Ice cream.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't do anything I wouldn't. I don't tell my clients to do anything I wouldn't do.
You practice what you preach.
Yeah, exactly. So I eat 80% clean, 20% junk. So I'm a real person.
Ha. Now I'm feeling so much better about fitness.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's huge. I think that's an important message, because anybody who is trying to make strides in this space, I do think oftentimes the fads are real. They're very dominant in social media, on TV, of like, do these extreme things, and they're so impractical. I think that's what prevents people from getting started, because they don't want to eat like that. They're not going to just all of a sudden become that person that works out 5 days a week. So I think that incremental meeting people where they are, it just makes it so much easier to go from, 0 to 2 and 2 to 4 instead of 0 to, 10, which is just...
Yes, it's so true.
Too hard.
Like you said, there's a lot of fad diets out there. Quick fixes. I always tell people, hey, if you're looking for a quick fix, I'm not the trainer or the coach for you. Because that's,
and I feel like it's confusing. Because you're like, okay, wait, don't
hire me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not for you. I can point you to a different direction, but I will not put your body into chaos or to some extreme dieting or extreme training just for that quick fix.
Because that's also unhealthy.
It is.
Right?
It's unhealthy.
To just all of a sudden go to, completely depriving your body from different nutrients, or just so you can try to... Well, then, and it's also not sustainable.
It's not. And if you tell me, oh, I don't eat carbs, I want you to cut them out, I'm like, no.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm not the trainer for you. I eat carbs. I eat healthy carbs. I eat fats. And I also have lean protein with all. I won't have carbs in vegetables. Not that way, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's rare, but powder supplements will help you with that.
That's good.
But yeah, I keep it real 100%. And for me, I love what I do. And if you're honest, as long as the client's honest, they tell me what they're struggling with, we'll get through it together.
Yeah.
So we build around that. We build around their lifestyle, their nutrition, their schedule, not my schedule.
Yeah.
I tell them, hey, if they're quick on the go, you need something fast, here's your macros.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to swap things in and out.
Ooh.
So you're able to still go out, enjoy time with your friends and family, not be on this meal plan that you have to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, right?
Exactly.
You go to the family parties and you're staring at everything like, can I or can't I?
Yeah.
Can I or not?
Yes, for sure. But it's all about balance.
Yeah.
When you go into it like that, that's how you keep the weight off. If you do a quick fix, it's just going to be a quick fix. You didn't learn much from it. You're going to keep doing challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge.
Yeah. And you're just like hitting your head against a wall.
Yeah. Why can't I lose weight?
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just, it's so inspiring to hear your story. I love knowing that during a time of challenge, you were able to have ingenuity in taking the leap of asking for help, asking for some expertise that could help your business turn around and get super creative.
Yeah.
Because how many awesome things that can happen online.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's limited.
It's limitless.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for anyone who's listening and is at that point where you feel limited or you feel like you've run out of options, or you feel like it's really drastic, like you go from income to zero income, think about these tips, think about these golden nuggets of who do you have around you that you can leverage? Who do you need to ask? They might not be in your circle this minute, but you can be resourceful and find who you need and get creative and start talking to yourself differently about what you can do versus what you can't. I think that's so huge.
Very powerful. One thing that really sticks to me very deep in my heart is I always remember my pastor saying, the 5 friends you have around you, that's who you're going to become. So I always keep that in mind with every relationship. It could be business, friendships, anything, your marriage. Who are those 5 people around you? That's who you're striving to be. That's who you're going to become.
Yeah. Take stock of that.
Yes.
Take stock of that.
Your circle is very important.
It's so important, and that's why there are those sayings. You are who you spend the most time with. And for anyone who's been following me for a while and have listened to my other podcast on Bliss Beyond Fear, one of the things that we talk about is this concept of savors. And savor stands for somebody who supports you, is aligned with you, value adds to your life, elevates you, and rises with you. And that's,
I love that.
It's not always easy. There's people that you love that are dear to your life. They might not necessarily fit that criteria. And it doesn't mean you kick them to the curb. It just means that maybe the amount of time that you spend or the energy that you expend changes.
Yes.
So you can invite energy, like we've been talking about throughout this podcast, of a mindset that is going to actually accelerate you and not hold you back. And that's tough because I think that which many of us are nice people, are good people, but sometimes you have to make hard choices.
You
right?
do, yes. It's not always peaches and cream.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may not understand why that person left, from your life. It doesn't make sense then, but then you see the bigger picture and you're like, now it makes sense. Everything happens for a reason. There's a season for everything. And I'm a big believer is people come and go. Even in business, friendships, everything, people who you thought are going to be there for you, all of a sudden aren't there for you. Yeah. It changes. There's always seasons for people being in your life and then they're replaced. God brings the people that you need.
Yeah, that you need.
Yeah.
And it all comes in due time.
Yes.
It's amazing how, the universe, and I believe that, whether you're somebody who believes in God or you just believe in some higher power or the universe, I do believe that it conspires to what you're attracting. You put negative out, you will get negative back. You put positive out, you'll get positive back. It's just it's a natural, way that things work.
Yes.
It's a magnetic force that you're creating, so thinking about, if you just even pause right now in your life and ask yourself that question, what are you emanating? What kind of energy are you putting out there? And does that influence the people that you have around you? And you take a look at that.
That's so true.
Probably going to be reciprocated based on how you show up for others is the same way people are going to show up for you, right?
Yes. So true.
Man, that is awesome. So I do have some additional questions for you.
Bring them.
Bring them. I am just such a big advocate that we're always learning, and that's one of the things I loved about your spirit is we don't stop. We're always, like you said, I love the word that you used earlier, be a student. Be a student of life. And when you kind of open your mind to knowing that you're always going to learn something new, you're inviting that knowledge in. And I do believe that we're all uniquely made and we all have our whatever it is, universe given, God given, talents and gifts that we're meant to, continue to hone. So I want people to get to know more about you and also maybe ask these questions of themselves. So I have 5 questions for you. And my first one is, what 3 words best describe you?
I would say a warrior, strong, and independent.
Ooh, I love that. It's like a Beyonce song. Yes. All the women went independent. All right. That's for another show. That's the karaoke episode that is coming up next. No. So my next question for you is, what's something about yourself that you're working on improving?
There's a lot of things right now that I'm improving. Self-reflection on myself. What can I do to impact more people?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I feel like I'm not done. I barely even started.
Mm-hmm.
I feel there's a lot of me to still give.
Yeah.
And whether that's in the fitness, I don't know. It's like wherever God takes me.
Mm-hmm.
Or it may be something totally different. I'm open to navigating and learning.
Yeah.
And seeing where it takes me. But yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine had told me, we don't spend enough time reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of have a tendency, as busy people, we live in America. It's a fast-paced environment. We tend to move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and don't pause and actually think about where we're at, where we want to go, how we want to influence. So I think that's a huge.
Yeah, it's huge. I've always been a person on the go.
Mm-hmm.
And when COVID hit, everything, if we know, shut down. Mm-hmm. And I went from always moving, wiggling around,
mm-hmm.
being gone a lot, to now being at home. And I really never had enough time to reflect on things and appreciate things.
Yeah.
So this COVID time really made me realize a lot of things to reflect on.
Yeah.
And what those things are important. What else can I improve on myself? How, even as a mother, just in a relationship, just in general, how can I be a better person overall?
Yeah.
And work on yourself.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a gift. I think it's kind of a bit of a gift that we've been given during this time that maybe we don't appreciate enough.
Yeah.
Is maybe we spent a lot of time going out, right, to get away from stuff, and then suddenly you're left inside thinking of stuff.
Yeah, I think for me, it was always work.
Work.
Mm-hmm. I never knew how to take time off from work. Like, I had to be there. I have to do this.
Yeah.
Bringing work home, working 7 days a week, long hours. So I think for me, it made me reflect on things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what am I doing with my time?
Right.
My time's
like,
very
is
valuable.
work the only thing that I want to do?
Yeah. No.
No. Don't do that. Don't.
Still work, but don't do it all the time.
Just don't. And what's that saying? Work to live, not live to work.
Yes.
Right? Like, don't make it your whole everything.
Yes.
I've definitely suffered that.
I think that's where I was at.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Like, you just literally realize that there's nothing else that you do, or you have no hobbies.
Yeah.
You have no other interests.
That was me. I was like, wait, what happened to myself?
Yeah. Like, oh gosh. Yeah. That's not a good, resume.
No.
Like, hey, tell me about yourself. Well, I work.
And work.
And I'm really good at it. That's about it.
That is true.
Like,
yeah.
I'm going to add some other things. I do feel like I've seen that in the pandemic, though. People were like, all of a sudden becoming guitar players, or like, I might be on The Voice. That might be my next jam. I'm going to be, like, there was a lot of kind of interesting things. Yeah. People became their own barbers. Beauticians going on, nails couldn't be done.
Manicure.
All bad. I'm not even going to talk about how that looked for me, because that was not a good,
like you said.
That was not a good look. That was a struggle in the beginning of this pandemic. I was like, oh boy.
I'm like, my eyebrows, my lashes, thank goodness I took them off, but I did have extensions on, guys, and it was horrible.
God. Yeah.
Nails were a mess, lashes were a mess, eyebrows were a mess, hair was a mess.
Next thing you know, I got a new hat collection. I'm just covering myself up all the time, like,
exactly.
No, girl, this is a different hat. This is my thing now. I'm a hat person.
I'm like, new me, I need to go all natural as possible. Okay?
Right? I know. I'm like, why are you wearing gloves all the time? Because I don't have nails. The nails are not on point right now. Okay.
Right.
So I'm accessorizing with things that cover up things.
Yes.
But yeah, there's a lot of creativity. So there are some gifts that, being more indoors. And I do think reflection is a huge one.
Yes.
My next question is, what's a self-limiting belief that you've had to personally overcome?
Well, there's been a lot, but one that has, in the beginning of me even starting a business, from the ground up, people thought that my business was actually a franchise every time they would come in.
Oh, they were like, can I buy?
And I'm like, no, I created this from the ground up. Yeah. And they were like, wow, you did this all by yourself. And for me, one of the limiting beliefs that I would tell myself constantly is I'm not smart enough to be where I'm at. And I'm not gonna get further.
Wow.
I don't deserve to be here type of thing, because there's people that spend hours or time trying to develop the next thing, or years,
Yep.
And one day I just woke up and I had this vision and this dream, and I'm like, I'm not smart enough to be here.
Yet.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Exactly.
Now, right?
Yeah.
And so obviously that was a limiting belief.
It was like me telling myself like, oh, I'm not smart. I'm not capable of even bringing a business here. I can't do it. And me proving to myself that I can. And, even with the whole COVID situation and me almost losing my business, is I can't believe that we survived that. Yeah. Looking at it, like I literally did that. Now I look back, I did that.
Yeah.
I did that shit.
That was me, okay? I don't know about you, but that was me.
And I had to come to realize I am smart. I am. So now I tell myself I am smart. I can do it.
You change your language. Yes. That's huge.
It's huge, yes.
That's big. Yeah. I mean, because that's the other thing I would, add on to what you're saying is people are always going to put some crazy shit in your head. You know what I mean? Yeah. Other people saying two things, either making you feel like you can't because they're, how? Well, what about this? And what about that? All these what ifs that make you feel like, oh gosh, what if they're right? Or, people that are just, they are thinking of the next thing like competition, like that's a good example, is like, well, what are you going to do about, there's Orange Theory,
right?
Or there's P2, I don't know, whatever. There's all kinds of other things. Like, what are you going to do about that? I mean, there's always a noise in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I think we just have to be very careful with that, because other people's opinions are none of our business.
It's not. So I had to learn that very quickly.
Bye.
Going into this. Yeah. Bye. I love that. Yeah. Going into it, people would say, well, what made me believe like I wasn't smart enough or capable of doing it was people would tell me, that you have to go to school to get a business degree to have a business. And I'm like thinking, really? Because at that time, I'm so naive, gullible. And I'm like, really? Like, you can't just start a business like this?
What are you talking about?
And then once I started doing more research, so don't believe everything you listen to. Do your own research. Go based on that. Once I started doing more research, I'm like, no, you don't. Just have a vision, a passion for it, and your purpose. Follow that. You can do anything with that.
Absolutely. How many people do we know that tell their stories about dropping out of school?
Exactly.
Because they wanted to go pursue their thing. They're like, this is taking too much time. I'm not suggesting you drop out of school.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying, where there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. So I just had to tell myself, I am smart. I am capable of it. I will succeed. And that's what I did. But
that's amazing. Mm-hmm. Okay. 2 more questions. What's one thing that you want to see changed in the world?
There's a lot of things, like I would say, but one big thing I would say is love one another. Treat people with kindness, because I see a lot of that not happening right now, especially with COVID. It really opened up my eyes that there is ugly people out there, and not everybody does good things with good hearts. So I just wish that it would change their outlook in life, that we are here and we are still living, and you're just blessed to be here another day on earth.
It's not promised.
It's not promised. Like us breathing and waking up, that's a blessing.
That's a blessing.
So I just wish people would appreciate that and have more of that in the world, and just be more lovable towards one another.
Can you imagine what it would be like if that was true?
Right? And be happy for people who are succeeding.
Preach.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Fancy that.
Yes.
Cheer people on.
Yes.
When you have an abundance mindset, you realize that there is enough to go around.
There is.
You don't have to try and hoard it to yourself, right?
No, right.
It's okay. You can be successful next to that person who is successful, next to that person who is successful, and you actually gain more.
Yes.
By the energy of supporting other people, because then they'll come around and support you when you might need that help.
Yeah. So
that's huge.
Yeah. So I just wish there would be more love, more kindness, and just appreciate things. Why do you have to be upset about the smallest things in life?
Yeah.
Things happen. You're blessed. You woke up today.
Gratitude. Yes. That's huge. Okay. My last question is, what is one of the best pieces of advice that you've ever been given?
Don't ever bite the hand off who fed you.
Ooh.
That's one advice that has always stuck to me. You never want to close that door, because you never know if you need their help again.
Yeah. That's big.
It's big.
There's a lot of bridges that I think people burn.
Yes. So don't ever do that.
Don't do that.
Always think and be thankful to whoever got you to that point. Be grateful, because if it wasn't for that person, you wouldn't be where you're at right now. So don't ever forget where you came from.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you don't keep yourself grounded, you can get all up in the clouds. That's awesome. It's huge. My gosh, that's amazing.
And I always remember that. So anything that I go into, I remember those words, because you always want to be able to come back if you need to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, and you don't want to burn that bridge or forget who helped you.
Yeah.
During that
regardless
time.
Of how successful you become. Yeah. That's huge. I love that.
So I always remember that. Yeah.
So Rosa, before I let you go, because I could definitely stay and talk to you for hours, is there anything that you've got coming up in terms of programs, or like the next thing for ProLifts that you want people to know about?
Yes, so we do have an ongoing challenge, which is called the Corona 10 Slim Down Challenge. Woo woo.
Oh my gosh. I think I need to do that. I might have had too much Taco Bell lately and need to get up on that.
Yes, so that's one of our ongoing challenges, our program. We have that. It starts every Monday, the first week of every month. So you can hop on. It's an ongoing challenge.
Oh,
so
nice.
We have that coming every month. So that one starts April 5th, which is on Monday.
Woo!
Monday.
Awesome. I love it.
So there's that one. And then I do have my one-on-one online coaching program that's always ongoing. So whatever your fitness goals may be, you want something customized specifically for you and your fitness goals, then we would suggest that program.
Incredible.
Yes.
So how would people reach you if they were interested in that? How could they find you, follow you, contact you?
So we're on Instagram and Facebook. So Pro Lifts is on Facebook and Instagram. So it's under Pro Lifts Fitness. And then I have my personal page, which is under Rosa Alanis on Facebook. And then Instagram, it's Rosa Alanis _fit. So you'll be able to find me there.
Nice. She's on all the social media platforms.
Yeah.
We'll make sure those are in the show notes so you can go and follow and be inspired by this realm that can be so challenging. I know I am. I'm sitting here thinking like, this challenge is for me. I probably need to do this. But I just want to thank you so much again for your time and your willingness to be vulnerable and share your story. I personally was inspired by it, and I just wanted to reach out with you. And I just hope that for others who may be going through something similar, whether you're on the tail end of it, whether you're at the beginning or the middle of it, things do have a beginning, middle, and an end. So just remember that. And hopefully Rosa has inspired you with her story. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
So much fun talking to you. And I know this is only the beginning.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot more that we can do together. So I'm looking forward to more collaboration with you. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So much fun.
Hopefully I inspired at least one person.
That's all it takes.
You can do it.
One person at a time. So thank you for listening, for tuning in today to the Born Unbreakable podcast. Come here every week. We have new people that come on and share their incredible stories and to let us know that we have unbreakable spirits. And despite what happens to us and the circumstances we've been given, we have a choice of how we react, how we show up, and how we give the greatness that we have within us to the world. So go out there, be great, and come back again for the next episode. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Rosa is not the only guest on today's show. Radar is making a guest appearance as well. He just couldn't help himself as I'm sitting here reflecting on the amazing interview that I just did with fitness trainer, somebody who made it pro in bodybuilding after 3 years, not liking to work out, rapidly becoming successful because she put her mind to it. So it leads me to a key takeaway that I really, really love, which is the simple message of believing in yourself. The power of believing in yourself despite what others think, despite what others say, because at the end of the day, all you have is you, and you have the choice of what decisions that you make. If you have a dream, just like Rosa did, in keeping her business, saving her business, she spent all her savings on a coach so that she could turn her business around and succeed during quarantine. Believe in that dream. Pursue that dream relentlessly. I love that. She also shared this great quote with me that I wasn't able to mention when I was interviewing her. And it's, you can't start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. I love how she talked about self-limiting beliefs and focusing on moving forward. So often we get stuck in the stories of our past or the things that limit us because of what other people say. And we don't need to do that. We don't need to get stuck. Focus on visioning. One of the most magnificent things that she did was envision herself on stage, getting her pro card, envisioning the success of her business, having that vision of what it looks like. If you haven't done the exercise of creating a vision board, do that. If you want to know how to do that, reach out to me. You know where to find me, at Born Unbreakable on Instagram. You can email Des at bornunbreakable.com. Check out the website. You could tell that there's a lot of consistency, bornunbreakable.com, and I would love to help you with that. I appreciate you so much for showing up every week and listening to the incredible stories of perseverance of people who are demonstrating their unbreakable spirits, which we all have within us. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget that you are your only limit. So take action today. This life is ours and tomorrow is not promised. So make today great. And don't forget to tune in next time for another episode of the Born Unbreakable podcast.